りや急いでまっすぐ Wake up 続く未来は無限大さ今を楽しもう歌え笑い一緒にラッキーラッキー大好きラッキーラッキー突撃終わりなんかない未来ワクワク地味塞いでも届かない扉を開けて最初は怖いけれどもたくさんの願い溢れて飛び出す勇気出して新しい道へ光を追いかけて闇を振り払って転んでも負けないよ鉄ゴールまで好奇心全開夢のパスポートずっと楽しもうドキドキワクワクの世界冒険しよういっぱいハッピーいつも笑いたい憧れてたステージへ張りや急いでまっすぐ Wake up 続く未来は無限大さ今を楽しもう歌え笑い一緒にラッキーラッキー大好きラッキーラッキー突撃終わりなんかない未来ワクワク地味こんなに険しい道だとしても行動は果てなく止まらない踊り続けよう歌い続けようきらめいてときめいてく Never ending stage 遊ぼう One more 諦めないで Dreams絶対完中進もう全力疾走願うだけじゃ足りない張りや急いでまっすぐ Wake up 続く未来は無限大さ今を楽しもう歌え笑い一緒にラッキーラッキー大好きラッキーラッキー突撃終わりなんかない未来ワクワク Dreaming
Hello, I'm Kamei. I'm a self-produced solo idol from Australia performing in Japan, and you are watching IDOLEYEZ.
My name is Eggy. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. Former VTuber, current human being? God, she's so pretty. Oh my god. It was back in early 2024 when I went to an idol concert in Japan on a whim because of my VTuber Oshi who graduated. Needless to say, I got hooked. I think we like idols. After meeting and talking to 2 English-speaking idols there, I realized every single idol has a story, be it why they chase this dream, their ups and downs, and even their future after all this. And that's what I'm here to do. To learn more about idol culture, listen and talk to idols around the world, be it from Australia to Japan to here in the US, and to give them a platform to tell their story. Every idol has a dream and a story to tell. This is IDOLEYEZ. One of the US idol scene's prominent stars, Barry, joins the show to talk about her idol journey. All Eyes on Me. Idolize, episode 47. Barry, 5:30 p.m. PST, 8:30 p.m. EST.
Yay! It works. Yeah. Hello. Also, I'm so sorry to deliver some bad news. It appears you might not have audio.
Yeah, okay, let me do that. Let me try that again one more time. Oh no. Wow, I'm very rusty. My bad. Yes, I have a voice now. Let's try this one
Yay!
more time. Taking it back. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is Idolize, episode 47. I'm back after 3 months in the driver's seat hosting this show. And our guest for tonight, a long time coming since asking her in October. Both of us have been very, very busy. But this
Yes.
is Goro, Majima's number one favorite fan. This is News's super fan of all time, traveling to Japan every single month to see her Kamiyoshi.
At this point.
She is an ice cream connoisseur. This is Barry.
Wow! Hello!
Hello. Yeah, a long time coming.
Yeah.
I think we first met at Idol Party LA, but we fully didn't talk until like after your panel at Northwest Idol Fest. I think I introduced myself. I did like an elevator pitch, but also I was like rushing because I had to do photography for the community stage. So like, I guess this is our very much our first one-on-one, very long form talk. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So welcome to the
So
show.
exciting. No, thank you for having me. I remember seeing on Twitter like just other friends of mine like either appearing on here or like retweeting posts about it, and I was always like, wow, like Idol podcast, that's crazy, that sounds fun. And then like when you like talked to me like fully about it at like Northwest Idol Fest, I was like, wait, I already know about this. And I was like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it too. So here we are.
Here we are. Let's get into it as we take every single guest back to the past with a question that I always ask is who or what got you into idol culture or J-pop culture?
Oh man. So when I was a young child with very little restricted internet access, I had an online friend who showed me J-pop. So this is all her fault. Um, and she like I didn't even like watch anime. I didn't like have any exposure to like Japanese pop culture like at all. So I'm one of the weirdos that got into J-pop first and then got into anime. A lot of people I feel like are kind of the opposite. But she introduced me to J-pop because she wanted me to get into the same band as her, which was News. And it's funny because she tried to get me into them by showing me like her oshis, like the ones that she like thinks were the best looking, and I was like, I disagree, but okay. I was like, well, we have very different taste, I see. So I was like, these guys, sure, okay, mid, whatever. Music's good. These guys are mid. But then we get to this one song where my Kamiyoshi, later to be my Kamiyoshi of like 16 years or something ridiculous, like he sings like the killer part. He comes out with his beautiful vocals and his beautiful face, and like my life has not been the same since I saw him, and I'm like, I'm a changed person. Like it was like my eyes opened to like a new universe, and I was like, wow. And after like falling head over heels for this idol man, I just like completely like dove headfirst into it. I was like, oh my gosh, like the music is so catchy. And then I started watching lives of them and their group, and seeing like the costumes, the stages, like everything was so grand. And like I always knew that I wanted to be like a performer or a musician of some kind, because I've always been involved in that scene anyway, ever since I was a kid. But after seeing J-pop idols and like how they just handle everything, I was like, this is what I always wanted, but like never knew that I wanted it until I saw it. And it was like everything like clicked into place, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do.
So, you talked about your Kamiyoshi singing the killer
Mm.
part. Do you want to say who that specifically was?
Oh yes, I will talk about him all day long. His name is Tagoshi Yuya. He used to be a member of News, but he recently has gone solo. But the part that I was referring to is probably one of News's most famous songs. It's called Weak. Um, it's got like a bunch of E's in it. It was on like a pretty famous commercial where they were all like dancing and stuff. But that song, like Tagoshi's solo. Okay, geez, sorry, my cat's asking to leave. Get out of here. um, so his part, like he only gets like one solo line in that whole song, but it's the best line in the whole song. And just his angelic vocals just like captured me. And here we are. It's all because of him. So
So, previously on IDOLEYEZ, we had Amanda Tanadinata on the show, and she
yeah.
also talked about News, I guess, inspiring her to also become an idol. So very much
Mhm.
connecting two and two together. And also, you guys performed together at the community stage for Northwest Idol
Oh
Fest.
yes. Oh yeah. We actually became friends because when SoCal Idol Fest back in 2023 was like kind of announcing their performers and stuff, I was like, okay, I'm still like really really new to the idol scene, because this was like fresh off of like Sorbet disbanding, so like I didn't really know anyone. Um, and so I was kind of like researching some of the performers that were going to be coming, and I saw Amanda posted a reel using a Tegoshi song like as the audio over her reel, and I literally got like jump scared. I was like, I'm so used to being like the only person in existence that like knows News and Tegoshi, and like especially still keeps up with them. So when I saw that she used a Tegoshi audio, I literally commented like, hello, we are best friends now. And so we like immediately bonded on how we both like grew up on News. And we actually went and saw News in concert together in Japan.
Ooh.
So it was a big bonding moment for our friendship.
So with News, you discovered J-pop.
Mm.
Did that really like jumpstart your like inspiration to do idol activities, or how did that happen?
Yeah, very, very much. Because after seeing News, I kind of did like even more of a deep dive. Like I already was inspired by just like their costumes and their stages, because they were doing like Tokyo Dome and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, like massive stage, everyone's like cheering for them. It's got the lights and the Uchiwa fans, and it was just so like I loved everything about it. And then I started looking into other groups, like other Johnny's groups, other like girl groups and things like that, from around that time. And like it just really solidified for me like, yeah, I really love like I'm such a social person, so I love like groups and I love being with other people. So like just the idea of like being in a group performing with other people, and like everyone's got their own like color or vibe, and like people are fans of one person but they love the whole group anyway, and like the interactions and just everything about it really like spoke to me. And like I said, it was kind of like I didn't know what I wanted until I saw it, and that was very much like my, yeah, I think I want to do this.
So, before starting with like idol stuff, like how did you come up with your stage name?
So actually, I used to go under a different cosplay name for like a majority of my like cosplay career. But then I wanted to start streaming on Twitch.
Mm.
And I kind of like, I was never a fan of like no offense to people that do this, but I was never a fan of people that have like a bunch of like excessive numbers
Oh.
in their usernames, because I was trying to think like, okay, I'm thinking about branding. I'm like, even though I'm like just starting my Twitch channel, I'm like, I'm thinking about branding. I'm thinking about like marketability. So I was like, I need to have a name that like stands out and is like a solid name with like no numbers, no like weird things. It's just like a solid, this is it, you know. And I ended up going with Blueberry Train because it was a reference to Love Live, which I am still a fan of. And the original spelling of Blueberry Train was taken with BLUE. So I ended up just changing it to BLOO, and that wasn't taken. So I made it that. And then when I moved to California, I was still like, uh, didn't start going by Barry like full time at that point. But when I moved to Cali, I actually auditioned for a maid cafe. And the head maid was like, "Oh, what do you want your maid name to be?" Um, and I had really no idea. Like, I didn't really think about it at all. And so she was like, "Oh, well, what about Maid Berry? Because your username is Blueberry Train. So, like, you know, like let's just go off of that." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like that's cute. I like that." And as someone who grew up with a name that is not like nicknameable, I never had like a cute nickname growing up. And I was always kind of like envious of people because I don't like my birth name. So like people who were able to like go by something else, I was always kind of jealous. I was like, oh man, like I always hated like introducing myself. But after like being dubbed Maid Berry and then hanging out with the other maids and having them all call me Berry, and like it was like, wow, I have a nickname. Like this is like kind of what I always wanted. Um, and so I just kind of started going by Barry like full time, I guess. And yeah, it just stuck with me, I suppose.
I mean, it's a very memorable name, and you know, it's
Thank
Barry, very memorable. So like, and
you.
you know, yeah. So,
I'm glad.
so I guess before that,
Mm.
very 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 first idol performance. Was there anything that you did to help prepare for that, like choir, dance classes, anything?
So technically, yes. I mean, I've been involved in dance since I was a kid. I tried like every like style genre of dance imaginable, but the one that I was really good at for some reason was Irish dance.
Irish.
Which is funny because I'm not Irish at all. But I was just like really good at the footwork, and I used to travel like all around the country to compete in Irish dance, and I ended up having to quit, unfortunately, like right before like the final stage where you go to Ireland to compete, because there was like some family medical emergency stuff, and I felt kind of guilty like taking money that could be used towards that and putting it towards just my silly little dance hobby, you know? Um, so I was like, I don't need to keep doing it. It's okay. But I did technically get classically trained as a dancer for like the majority of my life. Um, and yeah, I mean, I would say that's probably my best amount of like training or practicing. Like, sure, I did choir in school and stuff like that, but I never was in any sort of like, you know, show choir, like any competitive things like that. I've definitely leaned more into dance as a skill more so than singing for me.
I see.
Mm.
So with that, do you remember the very first like idol activity or idol performance that you've done? Be it like cosplay, be it like original, whatever you want to like take that question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, technically, my first ever like idol adjacent performance was actually at Hallmat 2019. Um, we were in I was in a Love Live dance group, and my group, we opened the show. the Idol Fest in our first year of being a group, and that was pretty cool. And we got to do like aquarium, and I'm a yo girly, so that was like really really special. That like my childhood dream was to be an idol, and then even though I'm not like an original idol, I'm not myself, I'm just a character. Like that was the first time I really like stepped on stage and like performed like idol music, and I was like, wow, like young me would be so proud. And that was really cool. But my first time attempting to do like non-cosplay idol stuff was at AnyFest 2023. It was like right before like Sorbet had their debut, so I was kind of like testing the waters as like a soloist. And also I had my Sorbet member Alice with me. We did a couple duets there. Unfortunately, Ash was unable to make it, so we actually were thinking about trying to have the three of us together, but because she was a bit busy, the two of us, me and Alice, ended up just kind of like dipping our toes in as a duo, to kind of just like perform some dances and just kind of get our names out there. So those were like sort of those first few times.
I see. So how did you feel like after that performance, like stepping off stage? What was the thought process after?
I mean, I felt very proud, cuz like I mean the Love Live one, like I did feel very like I was very emotional cuz like especially I'm sure any yo cosplayer can relate to this that's done aquarium on stage, but like having the Yosa Road like happen, and like that was already amazing. And then just having so many people come up afterwards and they were so nice to us, like that was really great. But there really is something like extra special about when you're performing as yourself, and doing that performance like as you, and then like going off stage and having people like want to meet you and like they want to support you, not just because like, oh, you're my favorite Love Live character. And that one I put a lot of effort into because I learned a bunch of songs like on my own. I got to like curate my own set list, and it was very self-indulgent. I don't remember everything I did, but I remember that it was very like, this is all stuff I like. So if you also like it, then we can be friends. But if you don't like it, too bad. It's my performance. um, but it was very fun. It was like, wow, like this is my first time kicking it off as being a solo idol. Like this is what I always wanted to do for real. So it was very rewarding, I would say.
So, we're gonna do a little time skip. Pull a One Piece. Pull a Gurren Lagann. Do a little time skip to 2023, and let's talk about I guess when you went solo. So you debuted as a soloist at SoCal Idol Fest back in August 2023.
Yes.
Take me through your thoughts after performing for a while within groups. Like, how was it to just depart from that and become a soloist?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I say this to people all the time. Like, I'm not ever meaning to sound ungrateful, but I never wanted to be a soloist.
Oh.
My like if I were to like, sure, my dream is to be an idol in general. So I am very like thankful and grateful for the opportunities that I have right now, and that I've been given. But my like specific dream is to be in an idol group in Japan. Because like I said, growing up on News and the other J-pop groups of that time, like I just loved the group interactions. I love that they're all friends and they're just like traveling together and performing together, doing songs together. They can play off of each other. Like just the group dynamic as a whole just really appealed to me. Like sure, like doing maybe like one solo stage, or having like a solo album or something, I think is like a really fun idea to like express yourself like individually, but I never wanted to be a soloist full time. So I did kind of get like pressured into that. So even it was very bittersweet. SoCal Idol Fest was. That time slot actually was supposed to be for Sorbet. And I actually messaged the head of the event and I told them ahead of time, like, hey, we unfortunately disbanded. I'm sure you can see why. And so I was actually wondering, would I be able to take this as a soloist? Like take this time slot. And he was like, yeah, like go for it. And so I did. And I did invite Alice to perform with me one time. We did one song together, but it was very bittersweet because like I'm performing on my own and I'm doing the idol thing, but it's not exactly what I was originally planning. It's not what I was expecting to happen, I guess.
With that change, I also like, I I guess it's kind of common for like people on Idolize to say like they really want to be in groups. I remember like Aiden, also soloist, wanted to be in a group. Phoebe also yearns to be in a group. So it's very much common that people really want that group dynamic, but they're stuck being soloists, which they're fine with. But like, it's yeah. But also with SoCal Idol Fest, with that change, what do you remember like changing up the set list, or like do you remember what the set list was?
I'm pretty sure our set list was supposed to be we had our one original song that was like completely finished at the time, which is now lost media. I think we were gonna do well, so actually what I'm thinking of, I think, was Anime Riverside. We were supposed to perform at Anime Riverside the weekend after we went viral. But obviously that didn't end up happening. So that one was supposed to be like our original song, our first one, and then we were gonna do like Amazing Travel DNA, I think, by Azalea. And then I think we were supposed to do like our second song as well. We were like kind of working on it. I don't super remember. I think Ash and Alice were also gonna do a duet. But that was like I was like, yeah, you guys can handle your duet. You guys do that. But I think we were planning for LA for SoCal Idol Fest to be where we debuted like a full set list of our originals. Because like I would meet up with Alice and we would do the choreography together. And Ash did like some lyric work. I did some lyric work. Alice did some on the second one we had. So we were like very much like preparing, and we were like we were working so hard. So that was kind of our plan, was to do our original stuff. But in that time, like because we disbanded in July and the performance was in August. So oh, you guys, can you guys hear pudding? Sorry.
No, that's fine. Any idolized guest
Yeah.
or episode with like a cat means it's probably gonna be a good
All right,
episode.
she wants to come back in. Come on. Come on. Meow. All right, just stand there then if you want. I'll just get this out of the frame then. But yeah, because of our disbandment happened like just a few weeks like before the stage was supposed to happen, I was like, oh god, okay. So now I have to come up with an entire set list of things that I want to do. So I ended up picking Mitereku Believer from Kasumi from Nijigasaki. And I sang a song from My Kamiyoshi. And then we did Internet Overdose. Me and Alice did that together. Which I kind of picked that as like a little bit of a like, not a reference, but like it was definitely supposed to be like, yeah, we've had a bit of an internet overdose over the past 2 months. Here's kind of my little call out for that, I guess. A callback, I should say.
So with that, I guess now as a soloist, how did you come up with your concept? Or if you were with someone that doesn't know you or like is an idol fan, how would you like elevator pitch yourself to them?
Well, people that don't know like what idols are in general, like I usually just tell them that I'm a musician, um, and I just like, yeah, I sing, I dance, you know. And then if they usually ask to see pictures, I'm like, all right, you asked for it, and I'll show them the the crazy idol outfits I have, and they're like, oh, okay. Um, but I usually just like some idols have like a very cutesy persona, some have a very cool persona, and like I don't really think I have a persona. Barry is just me. Like me on stage is just me slightly amplified a little bit for like stage entertainment purposes, you know? Because obviously I'm not gonna go out and be like, hey guys, what's up? So performance today, like let's go gamers. Like I'm not gonna like of course I'm gonna be more like, hi, but I'm a pretty naturally like Genki person off stage. So on stage I'm kind of the same. But yeah, I just like to put on a frilly pink dress and dance around, and that's kind of how I describe it, you know.
I see. Yeah,
Mm,
most guests on Idolize usually are either just themselves, and no one's really like playing
yeah.
a character as much, or if they are, it's like a little bit amplified, as you would say. So
Hmm.
it's very interesting. Taking it back a bit, you
Mm,
you originally from Florida. You moved to California.
mm.
Was that move like because you wanted to pursue Idol, or was that something else?
No, actually, I had no idea what the idol scene looked like out here. Because Florida had its own whole thing. But I just moved out here because during COVID, I got a double whammy of I lost my job and my mom passed away. So I ended up like not really having a lot tying me to Florida anymore. Um, and my best friend at the time messaged me and she was like, hey, my lease ends in April, and she was already out in LA, and she was like, do you want to move in with me? And I was like, you know what? I am not normally a risk taker. I'm a very naturally like safe person. So taking big plunges or big decisions like that is like very out of character for me. But I was like, you know what? Yeah, like let's do it. Why not? So just packed up everything and moved out here. And it just so happened that Cali has like a pretty active idol scene, and I had no idea. But it just kind of worked out, I suppose. And it's nice that Cali is so close to, um, it's a lot less long of a plane ride if I want to go to Japan. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I
convenient.
very much feel that. um, so I would say you have very much a unique track record compared to, I guess, most U.S. Kai Guy idols because you've performed all over the country. Uh,
Mm,
like your schedule last year, it was like Texas, it was Idaho, Arizona,
mm.
Nevada, and then also Seattle. And you're also going to be in Seattle next week, so cool. Um, so was it your choice to expand on the places that you perform versus just like sticking to the Cali area, or?
I mean, I wouldn't say that it was my choice or not my choice. I would say it's more like I just started getting invited.
Oh,
Um, and like because I was kind of, I guess I can say like forced into doing this full time. Um, these events are reaching out to me and they're like, "Hey, you want to come perform at our out of state thing?" And I just be like, yeah, why not? Because like I want to be able to spread my music and my love of performing with the world as much as I can. And so just being given the opportunities to go out of state was has been really really nice.
mm. So
Mm,
there's like, of course, some states that don't really have an idol scene. Some do.
mm.
Um, was there a time like where you completely won the crowd over in like a place where like they don't know idols, or like a time where there was a super tough crowd?
Honestly, the first place that comes to mind is when I went to Kansas this year. So when I was told that there was going to be like an underground idol showcase, I was like, okay, wow, like, it's going to be at this like bar. And I was thinking that it was going to be run the same way that like me and my like local community here have been running our Taibans, where we rent out the music venue and that is our venue all day. So I was expecting it to be like that. But it was not. We in Kansas, we had like an hour and a half, 2 hour like performance slot like booked out, but it was like a performance night for just kind of anybody. So there was also like a rock band that was there, and there was a bunch of just like old people at the bar like drinking and stuff. And so like there were a couple instances where like they don't understand what's happening and they're drinking and they're like some did say some like things that are not very nice towards the community, towards us. And luckily my friend like shut him down real fast and like, kind of got rid of that. But I would say kind of combination of that, where they were a tough crowd, but then like because they just didn't understand. But after like seeing us perform and seeing like how excited everyone in the audience was, and like I was even talking to one of the bands backstage, and they were like, I had no idea that any of this even existed, but like you were awesome. I was like, oh, like thank you so much. And like I told them a little bit about what J-pop is, and they're like, wow, like I might look into this. And it was kind of I think a happy medium between they initially were like pretty rough, but then they were like, oh, okay, actually, like this is kind of cute. I vibe with this. You gotta make up your mind, my dude. Are you gonna go in? Or are you gonna go out?
So it's pretty good that like you actually won them over. Usually if there's a tough crowd and you, sometimes people don't win people over, but like you did. So happy ending for that. Is there? Do you have like a favorite con performance that you've done? I'm gonna exclude Northwest Idol Fest because that's pure idol. So anything else?
True. Ooh, I don't think I have a number one top one, but I would say that there's a couple that stand out to me for different reasons. Like, I really loved Colossal Con Texas because like that whole room was just filled with people, and like the volume of screams was like the highest amount that I had ever gotten at that time. So that was like very like, whoa, like it like gave me shivers. I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like for me, like that's crazy. I don't know if I'm deserving of this. But like everyone was so nice. My meet and greet line for that was like quite long. We had to relocate to a different room because we ran out of time. And I got to meet so many people, and it was really, really great. So I just have a lot of good memories surrounding that one. And then just also like the Taiban that we've been running here in LA, like we've been trying really hard to get our own, like carve out our own space, because we do have a really active idol community here. And so just limiting that to anime conventions is just, it's not it,
Right.
like we wanted to start creating our own thing. And so we've been running a couple Taiban or like just idol spaces outside of cons for a little bit, and they've all been really successful. And it's just nice being surrounded by people that get it. You know what I mean?
For sure. Like, even for me, getting into the scene, I always wanted like idols to like get out of the con area, or like get out of like the idol showcase and just have their own standalone event, because like it's more, I guess it's more welcoming compared to like a con, so
It very much is. It's because even, especially these days, like with anime conventions being, I don't know if I could say necessarily infiltrated, but more people that are not your typical anime convention goers have started coming.
right.
People more on the normie side of the scale. have started attending events like that. And so when, like, sure, to them, like, they've seen cosplay, they know vendors, like, they get that. But the second that they see like an idol performance, they're like, what in the world is this? And so it's like, I've had a couple interesting run-ins with people at conventions specifically because they get anime, but they don't get idols. And that's actually been a really big like thing, that like a stigma that I've been trying to break myself on TikTok is like, a lot of people that when they first saw me, they were just like, oh, Barry's just some big weeb. She watched one anime and now she's like, bleh, and I've been trying really hard to like break this Venn diagram thing that's going on. Like, sure, some idol fans are anime fans, some anime fans are idol fans, but they are not exclusive. We are our own thing,
Right.
So it's been nice that our attempts to break free from the convention scene have been pretty successful so far, and I hope that that trend can continue into other states as well. Like, the Kansas one, that was the first time I did an idol event, like, besides Northwest Idol Fest, like, that they were starting their own thing. Because even Northwest Idol Fest is still, it's an idol event, but it's still a con. So at least the Underground Idol Showcase I did in Kansas was like more Taiban feeling outside of Cali. So I'm like, oh, I hope that this momentum like keeps going. Like, I hope that more places do it too.
Yeah, like it's very much fulfilling because like last year you always had, or like on the top of my head it's like Natsumatsuri, you had IPLA, you had Northwest Idol Fest, technically you had a bunch of other ones, and like hopefully it'll like grow and grow and grow. Very much 2024 was very much the I guess the hotspot, or like the boom period for the Kai idol scene, so we'll see where
Very
it
much
goes. So what else? For these cons, do you usually do the same set list? I know you do like Waka Waka Dreaming. What other songs do you include in your set list?
Honestly, it kind of depends on the vibe, because like sometimes I'll change up my set list like last minute, and I know that convention staff loves when I do that. But it's kind of like, depending on how long of a performance I have, I try to balance out like, if I'm doing a longer set, I'm able to do ballads or slower songs or songs that involve more singing, because I have this whole performance time and I can make it balanced, But if I only have like 15 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do like a ballad in a 15-minute set. People are gonna get bored. So I try to like do really like exciting dancing songs for those. So I try to factor those in, but also sometimes like I'll introduce a new song if I feel like something is significant to me, or I just feel like I've done the same songs too often, and I'm like, I want to see something new. Let's just do it. Let's see. Like I started singing more of my Kamiyoshi's music, like when I was preparing for my first trip to Japan, because I was like, I'm gonna see him for the first time in person, so I'm hyping myself up by like singing his music, and now I sing it because I'm celebrating. I've seen him so many times now, and I love him. So you have to love him too. You have to listen to me perform his music all the time. Sorry.
You did you did perform, or you did cover like a new song with Amanda, I think, during that set, right? Or am I
Yeah, we
misremembering?
did two Tegomasu songs together, which is actually a subunit that my Kamiyoshi's in, and her like number 2 favorite from Muse is in.
Yeah, I remember that because I was there. I think I was in the back and I was watching. I think like one song, like the backing kind of like went off, and Amanda
Oh my
acapella.
gosh. It's so funny. Every time I hear that song on Spotify now, I just think of that specific performance. It was Amanda was singing You Are Not Alone by News. And she was doing it solo, but like we were all kind of like hyping her up behind her. And the cord that connected the computer to the speakers was stepped on.
Ooh.
So it became unplugged. And so she killed it though. Oh my god. Not only did she sound amazing, of course, but also when the cord got plugged back in, she was like almost perfectly on time when the music jumped back in. So I was like, oh my god, I was like professional. Like that was amazing.
So, going into our next section, while doing research on you, going through your IG, of course, because like where else, what else can I research? And like going through your reels, and like you always title your stuff full time Kaiga idol, like vlog, whatever. So majority of idols that I've had on the show usually do idol activities as a hobby or on the side, but you decided to pursue this as a full-time career. What made you do this and when?
So actually, I kind of teased it a little bit earlier, but it was actually not my decision to do this full time at this point in my life. What ended up happening is after going viral for Sorbet, me and my other members, we were all doxxed that first time. And my work location was one of those places that got doxxed, or one of those information. And so people started calling the place that I worked and were like harassing my coworkers, harassing my boss. And it was starting to literally affect their business. And they were commenting on their social media. Like it was bad. People were showing up to the store looking for me. And so I was placed on an indefinite hiatus with them, and that really broke my heart. And because I really liked that job too, and so that first thing happened, and then I was like, okay, I need to work, so I need to try and find another job. And I went through a handful of jobs throughout 2023, 2024, and every single time that I tried to get a job, pudding.
Very interested in the story.
No, you are the most indecisive. Yes? Yeah, hello. Fine, you can go over there. So funny. But like every time I tried to have a new job after that, I would get found out in some sort of way. Like I got another job where people discovered me like literally like my second day of training. People came into the store and recognized me, and I was like, I texted my best friend on my break, and I was like, oh, you're not gonna believe what happened to me today, haha. And she was like, oh, I already know what happened. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, oh, people already posted about it on TikTok.
Oh my god.
They already know where you are. So people would show up on my days off, like looking for me and stuff like that. So I had to quit that one as well. And similar stuff, like I went through a bunch of jobs where people would find out where I was, they would post about it on the internet, and people would come in droves to try and bother me, bother my coworkers and stuff like that. So I just kind of gave up at one point and I was like, okay, I clearly am not able to have a regular life anymore. So I just need to like full on dive into this idol thing and just full commit, I guess, which is a blessing and a curse because, you know, it was a blessing that I'm like, oh my God, this is my dream job. Like I'm doing what young Barry always wanted to do. Even if I didn't take the path that I thought I was going to take, I'm still doing it. But, you know, it's also hard because I'm like, not having a stable source of income is very scary. So I just kind of dove right in and started doing like full-time content creation, full-time merchandise stuff, idol stuff in general. And that's how this has kind of become my full-time thing.
I see. I guess this goes, it's like a two-parter, but like, is it like really tough like doing this as a career? And also, I guess like also gonna relate it to my Kamiyoshi. I talked to her, Taburugumi, also a full-time idol in Japan. She had a question for you. So I'm gonna quote it. In Tokyo, I would be able to do 20 shows a month, solo and with a group. In your case, how are you able to keep going with the amount of shows you do per month?
Oh, well, to answer the first one, is it difficult? Yes, it is extremely difficult. Especially like I am entirely a one man team. So like everything you see in relation to me and my brand is run entirely me by myself. So I answer all my own emails. I am my own booking manager. I make all my own merchandise and I pack all those orders. I run that whole store by myself. I do all my social media. And then, of course, I do the idling job itself. So I like, you know, go to either the studio to record whatever. I actually did my own album cover for my latest single that's coming out. I get out of here. She's like back and forth, back and forth. But yeah, I do literally everything on my own. So I also think I have it a bit harder than I could if I did have someone helping me. But unfortunately, I can't afford to hire someone to help me. So I'm just here doing it myself. But yeah, it is harder to be one here for sure than in Japan because like Gumi said, she could easily have 20 shows per month and I'm like maybe like 1 to 2, maybe 3 per month. But I'm, I guess, in that way lucky enough that I have supporters that truly like carry me through, because I do make a majority of my money from merchandise sales. So whenever I go to conventions, I sell my merchandise there or I sell it online. Or I also have TikTok. I am part of the Creator Rewards program. So I do get paid for my content on TikTok as well. So I guess having those two avenues is kind of what's kept me afloat. So it's like I truly am entirely at the mercy of my amazing, wonderful supporters. So they're really saving my life, literally.
I guess I can kind of relate because like even with Gumi, she does like a lot of shows, but sometimes like there's not a lot of people at Bupan. Even when I was there, like I would try to like hard carry as much as I can, with like, buying check-in, buying merch, and like I would, you know, hopefully you have like the same type of fans that would like try to hard carry at the merch table or something like that.
Yeah, I definitely do like my success at Bupan definitely fluctuates. I have noticed that I am actually most successful outside of California.
Oh.
I make the most amount on merch sales when I travel outside of my usual scene. And I think it just has to do with like me being in SoCal. It's kind of like, oh yeah, of course Barry's gonna be there. Like I can see Barry anytime. But if I'm going out of state, it's like, oh, like I'm a hot commodity. Like I don't know when she's coming back, so I gotta make sure I buy one of everything. so, so it's I definitely am. That's also why I tend to prioritize the outside of California gigs because I do make more of a living out there, but also because I love meeting more people and performing for more people, and also like selfishly seeing new sites and stuff like that and exploring. So yeah, it's hard, but it's fun.
Going back to TikTok, might as well rip off the band-aid. I guess this is the most hard-hitting question here on IDOLEYEZ. You unfortunately still have people who aren't in the community, by the way, that doubt you publicly. In order to combat that, you sometimes call them out on TikTok. What's the rationale between calling them out publicly versus just ignoring it?
So I was actually thinking about this even before the stream started, and unfortunately, I think that this answer might not be the happy-go-lucky, like super positive answer that people would like, and I think that some people might not like my answer. So I apologize, but I also cannot lie, so I am going to be entirely honest. So I kind of have two reasons for it. One is, like these people that are just being like so ignorant and incorrect and just so mean. You know, like I have a really like I'm neurodivergent. I have a very strong sense of justice and righteousness, and so when I see people being bullies, whether it's to me or anyone, I can't stand for that. Like I it makes my skin crawl. And so I'm like, all right, well, if you want to tell me that I'm never going to be a successful idol, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reply to your comment with a video of me being a successful idol, and I'm going to make you look like a fool in front of all of these people. So maybe you'll think about your actions, and maybe you'll grow from it and be a better person after that. Because bullying is cringe. I do not like it, and I never condone it in any situation because it's not cool. But also, the second reason kind of piggybacks off of that. As someone who has to depend on TikTok for their paycheck, those videos get the most amount of engagement, and therefore I make the most amount of money. And so, even though it's not a fun answer, it is the truth. Like, if I post a video of me that's, you know, the certain length that I need it to be in order to reach the payment, you know, and that video gets 1 million views, then I'm good for the month, you know? So, because people will comment on it and be like, no, Barry, don't listen to them. Or sometimes the haters will double down and they start fighting, and people start fighting in my comments. And, you know, it's like the engagement just keeps going. And, like, you know, seeing that comment that was just left in the chat reminded me of something my best friend had told me. Like, farm that rage bait, get that bag. Like, it actually, like, broke my heart when my friend told me at one point that my content is technically considered rage bait. And that really made me upset, because I try so hard to keep my, like, just idle space in general, like, positive, and like I always want to encourage people to like follow their dreams, and I want to be like I want to prove my own haters wrong, but I also want other people to feel that they can do the same thing. And so that's why sometimes I say, like, if I can be your go-to example that, like, it is possible to overcome extreme bullying, it is possible to overcome these haters, like, please, like, think about me and let that motivate you, you know? I always like preach that, but like it does suck that technically sometimes like I have to depend on that rage bait style content, because I mean it's I have to eat. And I kind of think of it as like, well, the bullies and the haters are the reason that I lost all of those jobs that I tried to have and lost my stable income. So if I can make money off of them, of course I'm gonna do it.
Right.
You know, yeah,
so...
might as well. Exactly. So that's kind of been you know, and I will say, like, I do ignore most of them. But sometimes I get one in my like filtered comments, because I also have like extreme bullying, like anti-bullying filters on my TikTok comments. Whenever one hits the filters and I see it and it's like, you're never gonna be an idol, stop calling yourself an idol, you're bleh. You know, I'm always like, oh, thank you. Thank you for the free content. And I just, you know, I'll leave it in my filtered comments for a while, give myself some time to film or edit a video together, and then I'm like, all right, thanks for helping me pay my rent, you know.
I mean, I remember like going through your TikTok, there was like one where like I think you replied to like a comment, or like you post, one of the comments was like, you're never gonna be an idol in Japan, and then it was like attached to the video, or like a montage of you like actually performing in Japan and being in Japan. So like,
Yeah,
eat that, hater. So yeah,
I mean, yeah, and that video on TikTok got almost like 1 million views on it. So it's just like the comment in the chat said, like, you want to make something positive, but platforms only pay for shock and anger. And I can actually give another example of that. Whenever I go live on TikTok, if I'm talking about just literally anything, like anything at all, my views will be like decent, like they're decent. But the second that the TikTok like AI algorithm or whatever picks up that I say sorbet, or if people in the chat like start dropping the names of my fellow members, or start making fun of me or something like that, my views just go up and up and up and up and up and up and up, because it pushes, the algorithm is pushing videos to my live to people that have interacted with videos about me. And so it's just like, even just like, I even tested it. I even just said the word sorbet on live and I gained like 200 viewers.
Oh.
So it's like, it's crazy how much like just in that, unfortunately, yeah, engaging with, as much as I hate it, like engaging with that negativity sometimes is the only way that I can either make it, but also uh make my rent, but also like I said before, I also want to kind of I hate bullying. I hate negativity. I really, really, really do. So I always hope that if I can just make more of a platform of like, okay, well, you want to say something mean? That's you're gonna have to reap the consequences of it. Because unfortunately, a lot of people these days don't think that their words and actions have consequences. So sometimes I guess a little part of me likes to remind them.
Yeah, I remember for Idol Party in LA, like I was trying to research some of the guests that, cuz like I only knew Phoebe, so I was trying to like research like everyone else, so like you, Strawberry Sunday, Asayoru, and then I came across your TikTok, and then like I think on my For You page was one of your TikTok lives. I was like, oh shit, Barry, and like I joined, and like you got so much like hate. I'm like, oh my god. And then I remember like Ipla at Bupan, I was like, hey, you got so much hate comments. Don't just ignore that or something, some corny shit. But like, yeah, but like, yeah, you get like so much unwarranted like hatred, you know.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I actually, I kind of put it into words myself the other day, where like I'm insanely, insanely grateful that I am in a position where I am one of like the people on the front lines of the idol community. And so I am a lot of people's first exposure to J-pop in general, or especially like overseas, like foreign idols and stuff like that. And so like a lot of people like look up to me, and I'm still don't think that I'm worthy, but it is like insanely, like I'm so thankful for that. But there also comes a negative side to that, where because I'm on the front lines, that also means that when there's gunfire, I'm the first one to take the bullet. And so like it's kind of just a reality that I've had to shoulder, I suppose, is just that if I'm going to continue this path that I want to continue, and I continue to be on the front lines of this community, then I'm just gonna have to like it's like that meme of like the guy in the like
The
army
soldier,
outfit.
yeah.
Yeah, and he's like taking all the rockets in his back or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's me. That's me protecting the idol community from mean people. And I'll do it again.
Well, yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
if it's the least I can do, like our community doesn't deserve it. So if people want to take their anger out on me, that's fine, as long as everyone else is okay.
yeah. I guess turning into like a different topic. Might as well talk about I guess your pride and joy, your first original song, technically first original solo song, I guess. Waka Waka Dreaming. So that was in January 2024. You released that. When did you first start like working on the track?
We ended up really starting it in like August, September. That was when the majority of it happened. I actually performed it the weekend of my birthday. That was when I debuted it. It was at Japan Family Day in 2023. And so that was really special, having like my first song on my birthday. That's so cool. So I performed it there, and I kind of like I did perform it at every other show that I did after that, but I was kind of like just teasing it, like, oh, here's the first song, you know. But I ended up releasing it in January. So it took a couple months, you know, because like when it comes to uploading music for like distributors and whatnot, like it has to go through like an approval process and everything to make sure it's not like AI, make sure it's not stolen content, like all that kind of stuff. So that's why, even though it was done by like September, October, that's why it took a couple more months to get it out there.
I see.
Mm.
Was there like any influences that you wanted to pull from while working on the song? Specific songs that you like were listening to that like really got you, and like, you know?
Oh yes. Actually, when I was speaking with the songwriter, he told me like, "Can you send me some like inspiration, some like songs that you really like kind of want to match the vibe of?" And I actually sent Aozora Jumping Heart and Brightest Melody from Aqua. Because I knew for sure that I really wanted my first original solo song to be like kind of like my own personal clapback, um, and be like all about just achieving your dreams and like just being like that really inspirational feel good idol song, because those are two of my favorite Aqua songs in general. Anyway, I tend to lean more towards like the really powerful, emotional, inspirational songs that like light a fire under my butt. Um, and bring a tear to my eye. So I was like, I really want my first song to be that same sort of energy. So that's why I picked those songs.
So you were very much uplifting, powerful, trying to influence people. Is there like any other message that you wanted to like convey with that song, or is that about it?
It was definitely mostly about just kind of like, you know, no matter what anyone says, like keep dreaming, you can do it. But also that's kind of like why the music video was even framed the way that it was. It was actually very strategic. So when the set was built, it was very much it was supposed to be my bedroom, because I've always said that like when I was a kid, you know, when I was introduced to J-pop, like I used to put my headphones in and then I would like dance around pretending to be a J-pop idol on my bed. And so my idol career literally started from my bedroom. And so like being like having my first music video be like in my bedroom, and then there's the transition from my bedroom to the stage, and it's like I made my dreams a reality. Like there was just a whole symbolism there for just like, you know, everyone starts somewhere and everyone starts from their initial dream, and then, you know, if you work at it hard enough, like you can do it, you know, like let this be the proof that you can do it, you know.
I see. I did love the music video. So
Oh,
yeah.
good. Yeah.
What else? So Waku Waku Dreaming, very much bread and butter in your set list for most shows, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess at Home at 2024 and also at Idol Jam, you also performed a new song alongside Waku Waku Dreaming. What was it called, and when should we expect that to be released publicly?
So the title is really long. I was very inspired by like how sometimes like Fruit Zipper has like really long titles to their songs. So the title is literally the tagline. So it's like "Henna hitoka mo shiranai kedo sore demo ii desu ka?" Which is like, I'm a weird person, but that's okay, right? And kind of the message to that song is like, it's similar to Waku Waku Dreaming, but not in the like super like dreamy inspirational way, but more just kind of like blatantly saying like, you know, I want to be an idol that makes people smile, and some people think that that's weird, but it's what makes me happy, so I'm gonna do it anyway. So it's like a similar energy, but like it's a little bit more like decisive, you know, just like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm gonna do. And it's technically all ready to be released. I just have to finish uploading it to the distributor.
I
And I'm hoping I can get it out before I go to Japan in a couple weeks.
see.
Because I am going to be performing it in Japan when I go. Spoiler. So, so I would really like to have it like Spotify ready and everything by the time it comes out, so I can advertise it while I'm in Japan as well. So I would say like keep an eye for like late April, early May. That's kind of what I'm aiming for in that window.
See. Late April, early May. Might as well segue into, we talked about Japan, might as well go and talk about your Japan trip in May 2024. So you performed in Japan at Shibuya Kaimurai Kaikan, which I was there like last month for another show with very bad reception. I had to like prepare like a message, English to Japanese to an idol, and in a very specific spot near the bar area. It's very bad. But also, you performed there, and also, previous idol on IDOLEYEZ, Wooly, also performed there as well. I think
I saw that. Yeah. I was like, hey.
So you performed there, and also another venue. How did that opportunity come up?
So actually, when everything was going down with Sorbet, my story reached Japan. And I received an insane amount of support from Japanese people, which was very heartwarming and was very much needed at the time. And amongst those people was actually an idol producer from Japan. And he kind of reached out to me and was like, hey, like, I want to help you get off the ground. And so he actually flew to LA, and we had a little like dinner meeting, got some food, and like kind of talked about stuff. And then he's actually also the reason that Waka Waka Dreaming exists. He put me in touch with the songwriter for that. And we would have like Zoom meetings like weekly, which was 2 a.m. LA time, which was really fun. But like every week we would meet and we would talk about like Waka Waka Dreaming's process. We would talk about just like my growth as an idol. Like he would say like, okay, your goal this time is to bring 50 people to your show. And I'd be like, okay. And I would do it. And I'd be like, here's the picture proof. I took a picture. Yay. And he's actually also the reason that Idol Party exists, because he reached out to me and was like, I want to bring J-pop idol culture to America. And I was like, bet. So I went and got the like email connections for the Northwest Idol Fest team and the Asayorume Cafe and all that, and got them in touch with that idol producer. And so that's how Idol Party in LA was born as well. But when I went to Japan, he was the one that got me into those two shows, which I was very, very thankful for.
So
I also got to take a tour of Deer Stage, which was really cool.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah. I'm technically not normally allowed to take pictures in there, but when I went in, all the girls were like, "An idol from America! Picture!" So I have a lot of pictures on my phone from Deer Stage, and that was really cool.
I think like when I went there, I only took a photo of the actual stage, and then that's it. Like one singular photo. But yeah,
I got to like it was so funny. I went up like the stairs, and there's like a bunch of posters in the stairwell, and the producer was like, "Oh, Barry, take a picture with this poster. Oh, take a picture with this poster. Oh, what about like pose like this for this poster?" And I was like, "Okay." So it was very funny, but it was really cool experience to see that. And I also got to go up to the like AKB48 stage up in the donkey as well. And see that, and that was also really cool. And they were like, "Yeah, you're an idol. You can go up and see it." And I was like, oh, "Really?"
I always pass by the AKB stage. I never went there. Like passing by, like going up the stairs for the donkey. Never like passed by it. Never went through it. So
yeah, that was also really cool. It was like, wow, idol history. It's crazy.
It's just like seeing all the history like on the staircase and like everything. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, the timeline and stuff. Yeah. Was that like your first time, two-parter? Was that your first time in Japan, and also was that your first time performing in Japan?
Yes to both of those. Yeah,
Ooh.
that was my first trip, and so that was like that first trip was like a dream. It was like I got to do like everything that I like almost everything that I wanted to do. That's been on my Japan bucket list since I was a kid. But then also like performing twice was like definitely not expected. But I made some idol friends when I was there, just like talking in the green room backstage. Um, and I didn't get to perform in November because we were there for a little bit too short of a time. There was like nothing that happened in that window. But I'm actually going back in a couple weeks, and that one we're staying for a long enough time that I'm going to get to perform twice again. Um, and I'm very much looking forward to those. It's gonna be fun. I have even more idol friends there now, so I'm just like I'm gathering them all. I'm like collecting all of my idol friends.
So, with both sets, what was
Mm.
your set list like? Like,
I did do Walk Walk Dreaming both times. And I did Aiwa Taiyo Janai from Love Live. I did Sainwa B. Um, and I think I did Sing Na 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 from Hinoi Team, which is a big throwback for those para para girlies in the chat. Um, and yeah, so it wasn't like super long, but it was it was really fun to do that. But doing those songs definitely made me realize like I a lot of the set lists that I had been doing in the past were very anime convention curated, which is why I did a lot of Love Live and I danced to Vocaloid stuff. Um, but I was thinking like after performing in Japan and doing all those like anime songs, even though there was one girl that got super lit when I did Sign Wabi, she was like she got like so excited, which was very very cute. Um, it made me realize like okay yeah like my set lists are too anime. Like I'm curating them too much for the anime scene. But it's because I just wanted to perform songs that I thought people would want to hear at anime conventions. So I've been trying to pivot a little bit more away from that. And like, even though I'll still perform a Love Live song or something because I just like it, I have been trying to do more like actual idol music and go more in that direction without worrying about curating to anybody, you know?
right, I see. I mean, like, it's good to like step away from the usual stuff, right?
Yeah.
How would you say the JP crowd like respond to you specifically during that performance or both performances?
The first crowd, actually the two events that I did, they were one day apart. So actually a lot of the same people were at both events.
Oh.
Which is pretty because I recognized some of them and they were like, hey. But my first performance there, people were definitely surprised. Because I was the only white girl there. I'm just gonna say it. And so like, and not only that, but like my fan base in Japan at that time was like quite small. And I didn't really advertise my appearance there. So like even my like fans in Japan couldn't really come because they didn't really know about it. We kind of kept it on the down low as like an experiment, I guess. So people definitely didn't expect to see me and also didn't really know who I was. But they still treated me really nicely. Like at Bupan, like people still came and got techie. We still chatted and talked. Actually, like there's a techie of me somewhere with some guy that he's like, "You're from LA, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Can we do
LA?
the LA hands?" And I was like, "Sure." Why not? So it's out there in existence somewhere. But that was pretty funny. But yeah, no, everyone that I talked to was like really welcoming and really nice, and the other idols were really welcoming and nice. So like I didn't really, even though I was the only white girl there, I didn't really feel that different. The only difference really was just that the other idols had their own following already there, and they had their own like fan bases that showed up to support them. And because no one who knew who I was at that first time, they were like, "Who's this? Like, this is a new person." Okay. But I'm hoping that this next time that I go, not only will I have a larger fan base there, but also I'll be able to advertise it a bit better, and I can bring an even bigger and better show. So I'm hoping that every time I go will be a gradual improvement.
Well, hopefully. How would you compare? Because like you performed in the U.S. How would you compare the JP crowd to the U.S. crowd?
I mean, the it's hard to say even just US crowd, because after performing in a bunch of different states, even the crowds differ from state to state as
Oh,
well.
right. Yeah.
Like, because in SoCal, for example, like the wotage is like crazy. Like people are like they're going nuts, and like I love it. I think it's great. But then when I went to Florida, the most amount is you get very enthusiastic. Hi, 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 but like no one knows like any chants. No one knows like or goes any deeper than that, which is fine. But it's just different. And then in Japan, the crowds, the times that I performed there were pretty quiet. Um, I did get some like a little bit of cheering, like during like Walk Walk a Dreaming, like so during some instrumental bits. You know, like I did get the highs. Got like a tiny bit of Wotage, but there was no one was going nuts. Um, and I do also think that that just comes from people not really knowing who I was, or they weren't like they didn't know the song either, so they didn't know like what to expect. They didn't know like the format of it, so they're like, okay, which one can I pull out? Like I don't know how long the song is. I don't know because even like my second single, like some of the song structure is pretty unique. So some like wotake chants don't even fit um, because like the timing is like kind of weird. So like you really just kind of like have to know the idol and their music and their performance in order to really participate in that. So that's another thing I'm really hoping that each time I go back and it gradually improves and the crowd gets a little bigger every time, that maybe I can get some real chants out there, and people will be more familiar with my music.
I mean, it does. Yeah. Like we've had Ashes and we had Scrub on. They do like the call and mix stuff, and like usually, it takes trial and error to have like the perfect like the perfect call for like a specific part or a section of a song. So it's like it takes
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah, I can tell that when people are hearing like my second single for the first time, I've just been abbreviating it to Hennahito. Um, so when people hear that song, like, and they start mixing, and then they get to the part where the timing is weird, and you just hear it like gradually fade out
oh no.
because they're like, oh wait, I didn't know it was like not gonna, it wasn't gonna like continue in the format I thought it was gonna be. But that's also why, actually, on a related note, when that song comes out, I want to make my own video explaining the mix, because actually the songwriter for it like technically gave me a chant guide already like built into the song. Um, I didn't record my own like hi hi bah, 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 like into the track because I didn't think it was necessary, and I wanted the audience to do it, not me to do it. So I was thinking about like making sort of like a call guide video, so that way people can learn like the proper one, I guess, so they don't feel like awkward when it doesn't work out with the one that they thought they were gonna use.
I see. So yeah, hopefully people will learn from that video when it comes out. So back in 2024, in your FAQ video, you spoke some Japanese. How is your proficiency compared to now? Yeah.
I mean, definitely every day getting better. I'm always still learning. That's why when people like ask me like, "Are you fluent? How good are you? What's your level?" Well, I've never actually tested it, so I don't know. Um, I'm intimidated. I'm a bad test taker. But I always take the humble route and always say like, "Oh no, like tokoi janai desu." Like I mean, when we had friends visiting from Japan during the Idol Jam week, you know, I was able to hang out with Yura-chan the whole time. we had like no communication issues. It was a good time. Could talk to Aonyan. I'm gonna go to her bar actually when I visit in Japan, and that's gonna be really fun. And I'm very lucky that my boyfriend, my partner, is also Japanese, so he's always teaching me new things every day. So I have a lot of resources that I'm kind of always like I'm always learning, always inputting, and like slang is always changing. And like sometimes I might learn a word for something and it like from a textbook or
And it
something,
doesn't
and it's
apply.
not
Yeah.
the super accurate way to say
Right.
it or something. Or it's like, oh yeah, that means door, but like only this specific type of door. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? So it's I always like to say that I'm still learning every day,
I
at
see.
least.
Segueing into that, when you like after those two shows, two sets, you did
Mm.
Bupan. What was Bupan like, and was there like a difficult language barrier that you had to overcome or not?
Not really. No, it was like everyone was just really nice and they were just like, "Oh, like good job. Like so you live in LA?" Like, "Oh, that's so cool. How long have you been in Idol for?" Like we were just chatting and it was pretty easy. Pretty just standard stuff, I guess. Nothing really that had me like, "What? Like what'd you say? Sorry, let me get my translator app out." Like like I didn't have any issues with that. There was even like a little girl that came up to me and she wanted to get pictures, and she drew me like there were like drink coasters. Do I still have it over here?
Ooh.
Um, I have a little pile of oh, I think I put it in my gift drawer, which is
Ooh.
somewhere else. Um, but this little girl, she must have been like 4. She like came to see her favorite idol group, but she like drew on the coaster and gave it to me as a gift. And I like talked to her parents and like they were just so sweet. So like uh, I'm lucky that I didn't have any language issues or anything.
I see. Uh,
Mm.
Also like on Bupan, we've also had like three on to the top of my head like three different idols that Kai Guy, but also like performed in Japan. Aiden, Marmalade, and Nae. All three had like different like experiences with Bupan.
Mm.
Sometimes people don't go. Sometimes maybe like one or two checkies. What was your experience like?
The first Bupan I did, that was on the first day, was definitely less successful than the second one. The first one, I still think kind of comes up to like people just didn't know who the heck I was. And the people that I was sharing the Bupan time with, because actually the first place I performed in Shibuya, we for our Bupan we had to. I don't know if you did the same thing when you went,
It was
if
like
they had it in
after
the same place. We had to like exit and like cross the street and like go like way down to another building.
for Kaimarai Kaikan or
Yeah.
wow, no, cuz like we did Bupan was like right after the show, so that like everything cleared up
Oh.
and like they had like the Bupan tables on stage and like everywhere else. We didn't have to
Oh
go like
wow,
across
lucky.
the street. So
Yeah, no, we our Buffon was like scheduled times. So the Taiban was going like all day and my Taiban was like right after my set. So I had to like run off stage and then I had to like go down the street and like walk this long way into a different building and then I had to like go down some stairs into this like basement area and then there was 2 tables set up across from each other and one was for me, one was for another group that was going to be going at the same time and like everyone came for these girls because obviously they have a very dedicated fan base. They all had the merch, they were all decked out, and I was like, totally fair. I wasn't offended that I didn't have like, a lot of attention because number one, clearly they have their fans, and also people didn't know me. I did get like a couple checky that day, which was like very nice, and I was like, thank you for noticing me over here. But the second day was the much more successful one, and I think that was that was the same one where like some people showed up to the first day and then they also showed up to the second day, which was in Ginza. And I recognized some people, and the people there were the ones where I got to take the LA checky. And like I did like a Nico one, and like everyone was just like super super nice over there, and I found much more success on day 2 of performances. So yeah.
well, hopefully well, the next time you go to Japan, hopefully there will be a lot more fans at Bupan, and hopefully people will get a lot more checky. But
I hope so.
I guess this takes us to our final section, future slash
Ooh.
retrospective.
Hmm.
Out of your whole idol career, like what performance meant the most to you?
I kind of similar answer to the like favorite one is like there's certain ones that have certain milestones for me, I think. Like in terms of just standing out, like obviously SoCal Idol Fest being my solo debut, like that was like a very defining moment in my career, I think. I stepped out there for the first time. I cried on stage. It was great. Um, and then I would say doing like Idaho was my first out of state performance in America. Performing in Japan obviously was crazy. That was always the dream. Northwest Idol Fest was a big one because getting to be like a special guest at this like idol event, weekend long idol event, and like getting to host like MC and then do my own performance, and then I also performed with my friends and running a panel and stuff. Like that weekend as a whole was just like really cool as well. Um, and Hallmat, although the convention itself was not my favorite experience, um, my Bupan line was 3.5 hours long.
Oh my god.
So I'm insanely grateful for that. But oh my goodness, that was like wow, like this is kind of crazy. That was really cool. Uh, and then of course bringing the Idol Party in LA, Idol Jam, Taiban to life has also been meaningful from a staff point of view. Um, but yeah, I would say those are some pretty like every single one of them is special for different reasons, and I love them all for different reasons. But like I would say in terms of like milestones, those were some pretty standout ones for me. Hmm.
Um, what would you consider like the toughest performance that you've done?
Hmm. Honestly, I mean, SoCal Idol Fest was a hard one. I don't get nervous. I'm very lucky that I don't get nervous when I go on stage. I actually feel the most at home when I'm on stage. I just love being in front of people and performing in front of people and making them smile and stuff. So like it's like my second home. And so it should say a lot that at SoCal Idol Fest I was terrified. Um, that was my first time really appearing in public in general after Sorbet went viral and we disbanded and everything. Like I kind of became a shut-in for a while. Um, I like changed my hair. I lost my job. I was like, I was just so like I was such an anxious wreck. And then appearing on stage where like I knew like my announcement video for SoCal Idol Fest got like over 1 million views on TikTok. So I was like, okay, people are gonna come and they're gonna come looking for me, and I'm very nervous. I'm a very anxious person. So I that was the hard one. A lot of people did post videos of my performance and whatnot, and obviously that's all in the past. But that day in general was pretty difficult mentally, I would say. Trying to think of anything else. I mean, I would say anything else would just be like anytime I have to perform outside and there's wind and it just blows my bangs out of the way
Oh.
and I look like an egg. But luckily, like a lot of things have gone pretty smoothly outside of like maybe technical issues. But I don't want to like put anyone's sound team on blast or anything. But if anything, sometimes I've had some like technical issues that have like sort of killed the vibe, I suppose. But that's not really like a me thing. Like it's not my fault, or it's not like up to me. Like SoCal's was, where I was like all in my own head. So probably I would say that one was the most difficult for me, I think.
I see.
Mm.
As someone who's still actively an idol, actively trying to improve on yourself, what are like some things that you really want to improve while doing this?
I always tell people that I am a dancer and I sing out of obligation. Um, like I enjoy singing, I do. Um, I just I know, and I'm not trying to compliment fish from anyone, but I know my singing skills, and I know that I am a stronger dancer than I am a vocalist. Like truly, if I was in an idol group and I was like the member that was like main dancer, and I get one line per song, I would be happy. I would be more than happy. I would be so content with that. But because I'm a soloist and all eyes are on me the whole time, I'm like, okay, I really need to improve my singing abilities. And so I have been trying to work on that. I had started taking vocal lessons. Um, I even like practice like singing on the treadmill when I work out, so I can like build up that like lung capacity. I can build up my stamina, stuff like that. I even like sometimes practice with like a dumbbell as a microphone, which is a very funny image, but it like helps, I guess, just like with stamina, building strength and stuff like that. Um, so for me, I would say that improving my singing is a big thing that I like to do. Um, I also just in general would like to like this isn't necessarily related to skill, but I would like to improve my like table setup when I do like meet and greets and stuff. I feel like I see so many like people at Artist Alley and their tables are so beautiful. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I'm amazed. So I would love to make my table and my meet and greet experience a little bit more smooth, a little bit more pleasing to look at, instead of just like laying everything flat on the table. Make it a bit more like engaging, I guess. Um, but yeah.
Um, Going hand in hand with that, you did like the 2025 goals video, but like
Yes.
in general, what bucket list things that you want to like check off, right? I mean, like during your idol career or before everything, before you graduate.
Mm. I mean, every idol dreams of the Tokyo Dome, of course. So I feel like even if that's not even close to reality for me, like it's just kind of up there. It's like that's kind of like the final thing at the bottom of the list. That like if I get to it, awesome. But if I don't, it's okay. Um, but genuinely, like I would just like to be in some sort of like the dream is to be in some sort of unit or in some sort of group, um, ideally in Japan. Um, I definitely have fears of creating another group while here in America for a couple different reasons.
Right.
The first reason, of course, being like, you know, TikTok exploding and being like, you're trying to recreate sorbet! Ah! You're replacing your friends! And I'm like, bro, please, um, please let me live. But also with just like one issue that I have had in the past of being in Love Live groups and even being in Sorbet is like I run into a lot of issues with people with commitment,
Oh.
um, where I myself am an insanely dedicated person to this. So even in my Love Live groups, I've had issues where I'm kind of the only one really taking it seriously. Um, and like even people who are like still, doing their job, they're still just not as insane about it as I am. So maybe I'm just on my own weird, crazy level and I'm the outlier. But sometimes like that's a perk to being a soloist as well, where like I create all my own set lists. I am in charge of everything. I'm in charge of my own image. And I don't have to worry about relying on anyone. But it does get lonely up there. So I'm hoping that maybe someday I can introduce the idea of like getting established into a group of some kind. That would be really nice. Um, I mean, obviously, would like to just release more music whenever. I've got a couple dream collabs that I would like to do. that I think would be really fun, both merchandise wise and also like music wise. Like, oh my gosh, if I could perform on like just the same event as my Kamiyoshi, I think I would pass away. And what I think the craziest part is that it's very possible, and that's what's making me delulu about it. Is like I follow this girl on TikTok. She's a super cute idol. Sorry, I have ADHD, y'all. She's super cute idol, and I started following her on TikTok so I could like just keep up with her dances and stuff like that. And I saw that she was in a group, and I was like, whoa, cool. And then I saw that her group was performing at the same event as my Kamiyoshi, and I was like, whoa, okay. So I was like, so what we're saying is that I just need to get to a point in my career where I can meet him as an equal and be like, hey, my name's Barry. Who are you? Oh, Takoshi? Oh, so nice to meet you. Oh my gosh. Like, this tattoo dedicated to you? No, ignore that. Don't look at that. I don't know, what? Oh, that Takoshi, you got a shelf on your bookshelf? No, don't pay attention to that. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, obviously, like, just in general, getting to, I guess, meet him or perform with him or just like express to him like how much he's done for me. Because whenever I'm lacking motivation or I'm lacking inspiration, I'll pop in a news concert DVD and I'll just watch them do their thing. And I'm kind of reminded of like why I fell in love with J-pop in the first place. So if I could like communicate to him somehow that he's like the world to me, then that would be great. But yeah, I mean, I would just like to keep traveling, keep performing. Mostly in Japan would be the dream, but just going all over and like sharing my music with people from all over the world would be really cool. Especially, I know that's not as common for J-pop artists because Japan kind of just targets Japan and they don't really focus too much on the outside. So that's kind of a gaijin privilege I have, I guess, where I'm a J-pop artist, but I would like to also, like, of course, focus on Japan, but travel the world as well and, like, get more people into it. And then maybe that could somehow pave the way for some more J-pop idols to expand or just bring the knowledge of J-pop existing to places that didn't know about it before. But yeah, I guess that would be it.
Reach for the skies and hopefully you get at least all of those goals. Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Since we have like a lot of idols that tune in for the show, what general advice would you like give an idol if they're starting out or if they're like, you know, still doing shows? Like, what would you tell them?
You know, it's funny. I'm actually rewriting a script right now for a YouTube video dedicated to this. Because actually, when everything was happening in 2023, one of the most highly requested videos that people wanted me to make was like advice for overseas idols, and I was like, how am I supposed to make a video on something that I don't know? I don't have any experience of, because Sorbet disbanded before we could do anything. So I was like, y'all are asking me to make a video on something that I don't have any experience on. Like, sure, like, you know, because I was just thrust into like the world stage, like people thought that I was like an expert on this stuff. And I was like, no, like I myself only really performed like a handful of times. So I made a video with just like general advice that I thought might be helpful, or advice that I would have liked to hear, or just performance advice in general, from just years of performing as a dancer anyway. But I would like to make a new one now that I've been doing idol stuff for almost 2 years. So I will make one. But I usually stress that the most important things are to, first of all, kind of what we talked about a little bit earlier, is like, you want to see if you're doing it as a hobby or if you want to see if you're doing it as a career, because the way that you tackle those things is going to be very, very, very different. Because if you're just doing it as a hobby and you're just performing for fun because you like to dance on stage, you like idols, you know, like that's totally fine. Like you can do whatever you want. But if you're doing it professionally, then there is a level of like dedication. It's a little bit less. I can't necessarily say it's a little bit less fun, or a little bit less whimsical. But you know, you have to also think about business ventures as well, which is why I usually say like, if you're going to do professional idol work, you need to think about your branding. You need to think about like social media presence, like all those sorts of things, like making yourself memorable, just like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So like, but at least some basic advice that I think would kind of cover everyone would just be like, if you want to get started, like you just gotta do it. I know it sounds silly and cliche, but like just getting out there and like going out on that stage is the only way that you're gonna really start and do anything. There's always conventions or festivals or anything kind of like that. Like I'm sure that there's something in your area where you can sign up and be like, because even when I did Idaho last year, I was the only idol performer. I was like the only musician that was there.
What?
There was a band that was there, but it was because they were friends with the owner. So like the guy running the convention, so he like invited his friends just to kind of like, you know, like fill up some space in the schedule. But like I was the only like musician, and I was definitely the only idol. So like even if you don't think your event has a space for it, try and create one. You know, like even if you're the only person that's there doing it, you're doing it. You know what I mean? Taking the plunge is the hardest part, but like once you do it, it's very rewarding. It's very fun. And then you can always analyze from there, like what direction you want to go, if you want to keep going with it, if you need to pivot and change anything, like just kind of doing it.
I see.
Yeah.
Just do it. I think like
Yeah, do it.
like Sunny from Fable also had like the same advice. Just if you want to do idols, you just have to do it. You just have to like apply to events. You just have to like keep doing videos, try to do covers, try to do whatever, and then like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's kind of why like I very much believe in that advice, but also like I did before, like you kind of also have to break that into the two paths of like you also need to tackle being an idol knowing what you want to do with it, because doing it just for fun is a completely different animal than doing it as your job. So like I said, you kind of have to think about those things, but not to like promo myself or anything, but just like I'll make a video about it, I promise. I'll do it and I'll explain it way better, so I'm not yapping here for an hour about it.
I mean, you know, IDOLEYEZ is for the yappers. If you want to, you can. What else? Going hand in hand with C-Line's question, what do you plan on doing after being an idol? And I guess like with C-Line's question, in the very long term, would you see yourself like starting your own event promotion, since you also like had a hand in creating IPLA, or dance studio or record label to further grow the idol scene, or mentoring idols, something like that?
I mean, it's funny that I haven't really thought too much about it. I try not to plan too far into the future, because like I don't know, I think sometimes like the way I describe my luck is that I'm either insanely lucky or I'm insanely unlucky. I'm never in the middle. I can never just exist. It's like either like amazing things happen to me or terrible things happen to me. So because of that, I kind of don't really plan for anything too far into the future, because I start thinking like, oh, if I like plan too far ahead and it like falls through, I'm just like, I'm screwed. What am I gonna do? So like I have thought that like I do have interest in like voice acting work, and I've just been kind of thinking like, you know, the way that like some idols handle it in Japan, where they're an idol, sometimes they might do voice acting, they might do commercials, acting in like movies or drama or whatever, variety shows. Like my Kamiyoshi, like he obviously is still a singer, but he technically actually has graduated from Idol, like the title Idol. And I learned that because when I went to go buy his CD in Tower Records, he wasn't on the Idol floor anymore.
Oh, where was
Yeah,
he?
he's now with just the male artists.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, so you're not an idol anymore. Gotcha. But he has actually kind of returned to being a little bit of a regular on ITQ, which is a variety show. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's very funny if you haven't seen it. But, it's like they're, like I like to just describe an idol as like a variety entertainer anyway. So they kind of do a little bit of everything. And I'm going to try to be a singing, dancing idol for as long as my little bones can allow me to be. But someday when I maybe can't do it anymore, or I can't do it as often or as well, like I would probably lean more into maybe trying voice acting work, managing like an idol group, or just like giving like or producing or just helping an idol group would be really really fun because I am really passionate about idols. And hopefully I can like maybe help the next generation of them go up. But at least at this moment, I'm not thinking too much about that. I'm still kind of just focused on what I want to accomplish and what I want to do, and bettering myself before I start thinking about when. So when I stop all this, honestly, I kind of don't even try to think like that. I just like am worrying about. I'm doing it right now. This is the moment. Like I gotta focus on me, and I'm gonna focus on my dreams and what I want to do. So I don't even want to think about not being an idol anymore.
Yeah, gotta focus on the present,
Mm-hmm.
and then think about the future later, right?
I'm like, I'm gonna be like 70 years old, and I'm still gonna be like
Doing
doing my
Waka Waka
thing.
Dreaming. I guess final question. Same question that I asked at your panel. Let's see if like there's an actual different answer here. Like few months after the fact. So let's see. What would the current you tell the Barry that was about to start her idol journey? Be it like, because like I remember you specified like 3 different Barrys: 2022 or 2023 Barry, soloist Barry, and like Love Live cover Barry. So like, what would you tell them?
Man, I would even go as far as to say like I would say similar but different things and get different reactions from like even baby me, like super young me, and then going to like maybe 2019 me, which was like before doing real idol stuff, and then 2023 me, that's like in the midst of sorbet and like just feeling like garbage, and then just showing how far I've come. But like I would say probably the 2 most important like crucial ones that need to be talked to, I would say, would probably be super young me and 2023 me, because like being able to tell like kid me that I am a full-time like J-pop idol, like I had always dreamed of, like dancing on my bed, getting yelled at by my mom because she's like, Barry, go to bed, you have school tomorrow. And I'm like, no, I want to be an idol. I'm gonna keep singing and being obnoxious. Like I wanted it so bad when I was a kid. Like every night I would do it. And I would even put on like stupid outfits, like mix and match from my closet to try and like look like an idol outfit. Like I wanted it so bad, that being able to tell like young me, like, you did it. You're not going to get there the way that you think you're going to get there, but you're doing it. And you're technically not there yet. You're not at the end. You're not anywhere near finished. Your goals are still very much in progress, but you're on the way. And I think that that's pretty sick. And I think that baby me would be very, very excited. But also, like 2023 me, I would also like to show her how far we've come, because 2023 me almost, unalived herself. So that's how bad the harassment and everything got. So if I could like go back to that like initial week of everything happening and just being like, this is what happens if you don't give up. If you stay alive, if you stay here with us and you keep pushing through, like look at all this amazing stuff you're going to accomplish. Like your life is completely different, but like sure, in some ways it's different in the not most ideal way, but in some ways it's like great different. And you just need to keep sticking with it, and you're gonna do great things, you know.
Well, you're on the track on the up and up, so we'll
We're
see.
doing it.
We're doing it. You're doing it. I'm not doing it. You're doing
We're
it.
doing it.
But a return to form. Every single episode that I've hosted, we end on a segment called "The Worst Pep Talk Ever," where I, Eggy, give the guest a 1-minute pep talk that is usually pretty terrible. So we're gonna do it now. So
All right, I'm ready.
1 minute. Barry, you deserve the world. You get so much hatred, and it's really not. It's not unwarranted. It's not warranted at all. The amount of stuff that gets like thrown at you. Like the first time I saw the TikTok live and everything, like, you know. But like you push through, you keep pushing through. Maybe a little too deep, but I can also relate to like, you know, almost hitting rock bottom and going there and like seeing how far you've come and how far, you know, I guess the both of us have like gone through after all of that. It very much, I guess it's inspiring to see like where you are now, and hopefully you go up on the up and up. You're like, I would say like with Paida, with Phoebe, I guess like the big three, with you, probably the most prominent of the US Kaiga idol scene. So hopefully, I guess like one of the pillars, like hopefully, I guess we'll get like a lot more events, and hopefully you do a lot more events standalone from cons. And like I really hope that you like get a lot of people in Japan and get a lot of Czechie and a lot of people in the crowd. And I can't wait for that that second single. And I loved Waka Waka Dreaming, and I very much regret not seeing you perform solo at Northwest Idol Fest. I had a lot of commitments that like, and then also Sin City, like Sin City Con or Sin City Anime. I was like, I promised to like go there, but like I had something to do. I really regret not seeing you perform, and I really want to see you perform again. And hopefully this Idol Fest or whenever I can see you again. And honestly,
I mean,
yeah.
I already know when it's happening.
Ooh, I technically do also because I'm staff, but
Oh, yeah, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I was like, am I able to like tease that to you? Or...
Yeah, I kind of know. We're just gonna not say it here,
Okay.
but yeah, I know. But
yes, okay, cool.
but
Good to know. Then I'll see you then.
I'll see you then too, and I'm really hoping for the best for you. You deserve the world, and that is
I don't think I deserve that, but I
that is 2 minutes and 2:21, breaking the rule, but whatever, it's fine. I guess one last thing. Is there any upcoming gigs you want to promote? I know, you know, the Kawaii Skate Night. If you want to elaborate on that, or anything else, that's fine.
Yeah, so this weekend actually, I'm gonna be going up to Seattle. I've got a pretty busy weekend ahead of me. On Friday, I'm going to be doing the Kawaii Night Skate with actually Paida and Phoebe, as well as Miracle, who is Magical Melody. That one's going to be really, really fun. I'm super excited. All the girlies, we're back together. And then on Saturday, although I'm not performing at SakuraCon, I am going to be there doing a panel with some of Miracle's friends. They're doing like a sort of like how to run an idol festival panel, and me, Paida, and Phoebe are going to be there to kind of like lend our like advice and expertise on like the idol side. I also can dip a little bit into the staff side, but just kind of sharing our experience after being idols, you know, with that sort of thing. And then on Sunday, I'm going to be working at Dreamland Maid Cafe at SakuraCon. So I'll be there. And then after that, I'm coming home and then immediately shipping off to Japan. So I'll be like literally 2 days later, I'm like hopping on a plane to Japan. So I'll be performing there and, you know, doing some stuff. And then once I come back, I've got even more stuff in America to prepare for. But without going on and on and on for my schedule for the rest of the year, I guess I would say just if you are interested in seeing my performance schedule, I have it on my website all the time. Yeah, that the card link. That's it.
Yeah.
I always have my schedule like as fully updated as I possibly can, with as much information as I'm allowed to share, and that's definitely the best way to sort of keep an eye on where I'm going and what I'm up to. Yeah, and then second single will be out hopefully before I leave for Japan, but if not, it'll be in early May. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yay! Finally.
Well, this concludes this episode of IDOLEYZ. Probably my favorite episode for this year currently. So, Barry, thank you for being on. I think the next episode will be, I guess this Sunday. I will announce that probably tomorrow. But the VOD, if you missed this, or if you missed a part of this, the VOD will be up on the YouTube channel, IDOLEYZ 101. If you haven't followed Barry, which why haven't you? Go to that card. It has all of her socials. Yeah, go there, follow, and yeah. See you probably on Sunday. Go to the Sakura-con. Go to Kawaii Skate Night if you can, if you're in Seattle. And that concludes this episode. So thank you once again, Barry, so much for being on the show. It's been a long time coming, and thank you very, very much to everyone that was watching. Thank you so much. And we will be going to the ending screen right now. Bye-bye.
Bye.